Hi, my name is Anthony Johnson. I just wanted to take a time out today for a little bit just to talk about social media. That's a big word in today's time. When I was a kid, I don't remember too much internet talking and blogging and things like that. And I'm 26 years old, so I'm fairly young. I'm getting there though. But when I was a kid, I remember going outside. I remember playing with friends, going swimming, riding bikes, you know, scraping your knee, doing things that kids do. But now we live in an age where most kids, you don't see them without a tablet or a cell phone or some sort of electronic device. With that being said, um, the rise of social media in the past 10 to 15 years has just been out of this world. And it seems like in today's society, you don't meet many people that don't have a MySpace, Facebook, um, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. There's so many different social media outlets that people can latch onto and really become addicted to. And quick story, I'm an educator, so I work in schools, and I have the opportunity to work with kids and teenagers and our future leaders and innovators and things of that nature. And a lot of them struggle having a one-on-one conversation. And for me, talking has never been something that's hard. Obviously, I chose this presentation because I felt like if there's anything that's my strong suit, it's talking to people. So when I work with these students, I see that they struggle having oral conversation. It's just not their thing. They don't like talking. They don't like making eye contact. They don't like getting to know new people. Talking to a stranger, they just can't do it. And these same kids who struggle having a conversation one-on-one with a person are the same kids who have a different type of boldness and are very outspoken on social media or through text messaging. So I feel like this next generation coming up, social media is being used as a way to hide behind the computer. And I'll get into that a little later when we talk about cyberbullying and things of that nature. But I just feel like, my paper may have seemed a little one-sided because I talked a lot about how social media can cripple you. So before I can get there, I do want to talk about the positive things in social media. For example, social media does have some positive outlets. One of the things I like that I see a lot on social media is the generosity in some communities of people. I see a lot of things where people are giving to the needy, giving to charitable causes, things of that nature, and it's kind of a trend. Like when one person does it, someone sees that and it attracts them, and they say, okay, well, how can I donate? How can I give? How can I do things of that nature? And I know for myself, I work with some guys who constantly are giving, doing different things in the community, and sometimes I might not know. But just from logging into my social media, my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, when I see things going on in the community, it sparks something in me like, oh, okay, now that I see that, I can contribute. So that's one thing that's a positive for social media. And then there's things just like strictly communication. It's hard to talk to everybody that you know. It's hard to keep up with family that may not live in the same area as you. I mean, that can be difficult, but I feel like with social media, it has given us the opportunity to where we could reach people across the world in a matter of seconds. Short story, my best friend, when we left college, or left high school rather, I went to college, he went to the Air Force. When he got to the Air Force and did basic training, he was sent to Korea for 3 years. That's my best friend, like my brother. But obviously the cell phone thing really didn't work like that because, how that works with cell phones and calling out the country. It cost so much. But through Facebook was our main source of communication, whether it be through Messenger or the Facebook calling, or he could call me through Facebook and video time me. That things like that are times where I'm like, social media is definitely something that can be used for a positive and in a positive light. And just the communication to be so clear and timely from here to Korea, that's an amazing thing. And I think that's one of the reasons social media will be around forever. It's also good for building relationships with people you may not know. Even for businesses, a lot of times when you're going for jobs, the first thing they check is your social media. You can tell a lot from a person by their social media, the things they post, the things they say, how they interact with others. And some people don't know that, and they probably should, because you may lose the opportunity just because you're talking crazy on social media. So it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing, especially when it comes to a job, because, I mean, I try to filter what I allow on my social media and people to tag me in certain things, because you just never know who's watching. So building relationships, the generosity on social media. Another thing is pictures. It's a great way to take pictures. Person like me, I don't take pictures on my phone. So when I'm tagged in things and I see memories and stuff pop up on my Facebook and Instagram, or people take pictures and post it on social media, those are good ways to keep track of those things. And I think in hindsight, social media can be a very positive, very impactful thing, a great source of communication. Now, on the flip side of that, it can also be a very, very, very cruel thing, and something that people could abuse if not used correctly. So real quick, I'm going to give you some statistics. It says in 2005, it was estimated 2.2 billion individuals use social media worldwide. That's a lot of people. This briefly suggests that the number of social media users increased from 0 to 2 billion in less than 2 decades. That is ridiculous. So obviously, it has something in social media, brings something to the table that people just want to be involved. They want to be a part of that, and they don't want to miss out. And that's what I know. A lot of people who are addicted to social media, they feel like they're missing something. So they spend a lot of time like this in front of a screen or on a computer, and I'm guilty of it myself. I personally get on YouTube and look for one video, and next thing I know, 3 hours have gone by. And social media and these screens are consumers of your time, and it can really kill your time. And you can be idle-minded, just wasting time because of these electronics. So really quick, the first social media website that I knew of when I was in middle school was MySpace. MySpace was the introduction for a lot of people. It gave you the ability to create your own profile, have a certain type of song be on your profile when people click on it. It was your own little world. But at the same time, MySpace also brought a, not really what was the word I'm looking for? Not judgmental, but it had this thing where you could pick your top 4 favorite people. And as silly as that is, you didn't know how many people got involved emotionally and, to that, and felt a certain type of way, or it may have broke some people's heart, and they may have thought that you feel about them a certain way that they feel about you, and it may not have been true. So MySpace was the first thing that kind of, as the kids say today, kind of put people in their feelings, because it kind of put things in perspective to what you may mean to someone else. So that was created in 2006. So after that became Facebook, which is a great story about Mark Zuckerberg. There's a movie that came out about his story and how Facebook was created for Harvard elites. It was a dating website, nothing to be taken serious. It was just for the school. And eventually he dropped out of Harvard and took it on full time, and it became a multi-billion-dollar company. And it's been, Facebook is the website, like the #1 social media outlet right now. And there isn't many people you see without a Facebook. Again, it's a beautiful thing, but it can also be a very cruel thing. I spoke with your professor one time about how people say some of the craziest things and outlandish things on Facebook that they probably wouldn't say in person. But Facebook and Facebook posts, social media posts, give people a kind of confidence that they may not have in their real lives. So they use social media as a crutch, or social media as something that they can hide behind, but still throw their stones. And that's an old saying, you know, hide behind and throw your stone. But that's really what it is, and people sometimes abuse that. Due to cell phones and tablets, we're now able to carry the World Wide Web in our pockets, and we have the access to the internet at our fingertips. So with that being said, some people can't sit still without having their phone in their hand. Some people can't put their phone in their pocket because they're too consumed about what's going on right now in the world. Now, when it comes to news outlets, I think it's a beautiful thing that our news is at the tip of our hand and that we can see what's going on in the world. I mean, right whenever you need to. Because at a time like this and at a climate like this, I believe that knowing what's going on around you or what may be coming your way is definitely a necessity. Is all news good news? No. Is all news legible news? No. But I think as a person, you should be able to dictate which news website or broadcast is going to give you legitimate information, and pick wisely what you want to listen to and take heed to. Like I stated earlier, it says studies also show that social media is related to people having low self-esteem, as I mentioned with Facebook. Some users look at celebrities on social media and other people's lives, and they immediately begin to compare and contrast their lives. One thing I've learned on Facebook is that there is a whole lot of people that have two separate lives. They have their regular life where they are subject to bills, where they're subject to debt, where they're subject to their reality, where they're subject to their real household, their real amount of money that they make, and things of that nature. But their social media says a completely different life. Social media has fancy cars. Social media has all these name brand designers. Social media has you and your wife looking like y'all are the best couple in the world, but they don't know that you just got in a fight 2 days ago and weren't together 3 days ago. You can't gauge it. So a lot of people see things on social media and say, oh, why isn't my life like that? But they have no idea that what they're seeing is not even real. And social media gives you that ability. And those are some of the things I cannot stand about social media, because I don't think you should be able to reinvent who you are through social media. If you're going to reinvent yourself as a person as a whole, not just for social media, and then when you log out, you're the same person you were before then. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I believe social media has given a lot of people a second life that they may not ever see in reality. Again, like I said, working with kids, social media in the school setting, a lot of kids only do certain things for, my kids call it clout. Clout is basically saying they do things just for a reaction. They do things just for views. They do things just for people to see them. And it's not who they really are. It's just they're doing it because they know if I hop on my teacher's desk and I do a backflip off, I'm probably going to get 100,000 views on Facebook. Is that smart? No. Is that safe? No. Are you endangering yourself? Yes. But if it will go viral, they will try it. They will try it. And that's a sad part. I think it's our fault. I think it's social media's fault. I think that Facebook and Twitter and Instagram should filter certain foolishness, because if a kid jumps off a desk or hits a teacher or does anything of that nature, it's a bad reflection on not only the student, it's a bad reflection on the school, it's a bad reflection, maybe a bad reflection on that educator, depending on how they handle the situation. So I don't think things like that should go on social media and not only be viewed, but have people supporting and encouraging bad behavior. We cannot encourage bad behavior. And that is the majority, to me, of what social media is. The crazier the act, the more people back you and reward you for foolish acts. So I think that is something that we have to work on. That is something that we have to show kids, that there are consequences. A lot of people don't realize the consequence of their actions. They really don't. They see kids do these crazy things. They see people laugh at it, and they see 1 million views, but they don't see that that kid had to, either go to jail, pay a fine, do community service, hurt themselves, hurt someone else. People don't see the consequences, they just see the reaction. On the flip side of that, if you catch a teacher in a positive light, it can go viral and be a good thing. Like I said in my paper, Ellen DeGeneres all the time is awarding teachers who are doing positive things and amazing things in the schools, whether it be a rap of a lesson that the kids catch on to, or a teacher having 21 different handshakes for 21 different kids just to show them that he cares about them and that he appreciates what they do and he cares about them individually. Those positive things, I think we should keep pushing and keep rewarding. But it's sad to say the negative definitely outweighs the positive, especially in the school system, especially in the social media realm. And that's my fear for the next generation coming up. Because in my generation, we wouldn't think twice of doing any of the craziness that these kids do on a daily basis. So if these kids are contemplating doing craziness, then that means their kids are not even going to think about it. They're just going to do it. So I think social media is detrimental that we get a hold on it now before the next generation gets a hold of it. Like, it's definitely one of the most influential means of communication. And I think in the next 10 to 20 more years, there won't be TV and there won't be cable and things like that, because social media is so big and it's growing so fast that these companies that are still moving in the olden times, they're going to buy them up, and we'll watch TV directly from Facebook, Twitter, and all, because we're practically already are. I mean, TVs already have the app on the TV. So, I think social media will one day take over media as a whole. Newspapers are going out of business. Printing shops going out of business. Cable is barely holding on. And it's all due to social media. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because with time we evolve, but I feel like the basis and the way that this country was found, the things that this country was founded on, to me, I can't stand electronic books. I gotta have a hard copy, hardback book. But, we live in a time where everything's electronic. And my only fear is what happens when the electricity go out. Like, sometimes I pray and say, God, can we have a power outage so people can have conversation again? So, I know I might sound negative about social media, but I guess I just want people to really snap back into reality and realize that communication is this. This is communication. We communicate with our mouth. We communicate orally. That's how you get the point across. That's how people did it in the caveman days, and that's how we'll do it to the end of time. And I really want people to depend on this and this rather than depending on this. So I thank you for listening. I'm a little bit over my time, but thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for this course. Thank you for bearing with me through all my struggles throughout this semester. And I appreciate everything you've done. And I pray that you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, and a blessed New Year. Thank you.